Colleagues, as we all know, last year, Michiganders voted overwhelmingly in support of Proposal 1, which, for the first time in the history of the state, would require personal financial disclosure for members of the legislature. The proposal passed with 66% of the vote. But after nearly a year of waiting on the majority to bring up these bills, yesterday we finally had a very brief opportunity to review the final proposed implementation bills for Proposal 1. In so many ways, this bill is a failure. Instead of a robust disclosure package to shed light on the Lansing swamp, this toothless disclosure package failed to realize the intent of Proposal 1 and the will of Michigan's voters. A desperate need for transparency is evident all around us. In case any more proof was needed, it was recently revealed that the chairperson of the House Appropriations Committee and lead sponsor of this bill is also a part owner of a firm that seeks to influence the legislature. As chair, she appears to have steered taxpayer money to her clients of the firm she owns. And just yesterday, we were shocked with yet another case of abusing power for personal enrichment. The Detroit News reported that Curtis Hertel Jr., who served 8 years with us here in the Senate before becoming the governor's top lobbyist, landed a $108,000 consulting contract for an organization that he helped receive a $1.5 million appropriation. Then, just after they were awarded the money, Hertel left the governor's office to run for Congress. These are just the most recent examples of what drives people in Michigan nuts. This lack of transparency is why we needed to do so much more in this transparency bill that was passed yesterday. We need to rip open the corruption cesspool and ventilate it out in the light of day for the taxpayers to see. Mr. Hertel, of course, claims there is no relationship between his $100,000 contract and the $1.5 million appropriation that was steered to the group. And yet, the CEO of the organization admitted talking to Hertel about this sweetheart job at the very same time they were seeking money from the state. Friends, this doesn't pass the smell test. Mr. Hertel, who never represented Genesee County in his 22 years of elected office, lands a massive contract from the Greater Flint Health Coalition to study housing, just days after giving them $1.5 million. Some might suggest it is a reward for his assistance as he runs for Congress. Some might also suggest that the money is another way to curry favor with Mrs. Hertel, his wife, who is the state's director of the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, an agency that controls $31 billion and doles out money to organizations like the Greater Flint Health Coalition. Again, friends, this is the stuff that drives Michigan voters nuts. This is what the voters of Michigan have simply come to expect from the nation's least transparent government, squeezing special interests for personal and political benefit. It is what disgusts the taxpayers. They see the naked power grabs and the personal enrichment. Colleagues, the voters of the state gave us a pretty specific mandate. Require personal financial disclosure to shine light on this town's corruption. We can no longer accept the deception and personal enrichment running rampant. The financial transparency bill we just passed was a slap in the face to every Michigander, hoping for true transparency. Will this deception and duplicity in Lansing ever end?